Welcome to the NemoVote Podcast, where we discuss digital democracy and how we can change voting with technology. I'm your host, Aaron, COO of NemoVote, and with me joins today Mark Armstrong from Dublin Frontrunners. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Aaron. How you doing? Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for joining. So, Mark, could you start to introduce Dublin Frontrunners and maybe also what makes your community unique?
Yeah, so I'm Mark Armstrong. I'm the chairperson of Dublin Frontrunners for the last 3 years. What our club is very unique here in Ireland is that we're the largest LGBT running club here in Ireland and per capita in the world. So we've a big following of over 600 members, and we're part of an international Frontrunners group.
Yeah. And what I've learned is that your club is going to one of Dublin's most visible, inclusive sports communities. What do you think? What role does democracy and member participation play in that success?
Yeah, so we're in our community. A lot of people are from marginal backgrounds, and they've grown up in the LGBT community, trying to find their tribe, trying to fit in their circles. And with that, then we have a running club that runs 3 times a week, and we've a big, strong community. We go on 2 trips a year to do like a half marathon. We're also part of International Frontrunners. International Frontrunners is a running group where you can run all over the world. They have them in America, in Canada, and across Europe, like Madrid and London, where you can just rock in and go for a run with that club. So yeah, it's really special, and it's part of a great community.
So I haven't heard of that yet, but I might need to look for my local frontrunners club, I guess.
That's it. There's one near you somewhere. You can just go on to International Frontrunners and find a club near you, and it's really good when you're traveling for work or anything like that. You always have a safe community to run with and train with most in a lot of places across the world.
Nice. So we've been of course talking about NemoVote and NemoVote taking care of the elections. Now, elections itself can be a very sensitive moment in any organization. The hot topic every time. What convinced you that it's time to digitize this process, or did you already digitize it before?
No, so this is our time first to digitize this process. We have been doing in paper and in person ballots over the last number of years. Hugely time consuming. It takes a lot of volunteers, a lot of man hours or women hours to put the voting together to elect each individual. Last year we moved on to a blended AGM, like our annual general meeting, became blended after a vote last year. So this year was our first kind of blended. So we had an in-person voting, and people could arrive over Teams or any digital platform. As a volunteer-led organization, we have to uphold the Constitution, and our Constitution has a quorum to meet. So it has to be 1/3 of the membership needs to attend plus one. So it's very high turnover with 600 members. It's very high to make sure we reach that quorum. So that can be the first stress. So we didn't need an election in-person stress. So we did use NemoVote then to carry out that election for the first time.
And how did you see that the quorum has been reached? Just to get very in-depth now. But I mean, it's a very important topic, else you can't start the election, right?
Yeah, so basically we had 4 volunteers. To reach our quorum for the AGM, we had a database of all our members, and those that turned up in person, we had 2 volunteers taking them off, looking at their details, their email address, and then the same for, we use Google Meet, and then we had 2 volunteers with everybody in the waiting room, and they weren't allowed in the waiting room until they were registered members, until we knew that they had paid their membership fee for 2026. That's how we kind of managed that from that point of view. And then we also collated all the email addresses then once the 2 people in person had come, that the online people come, we collated all their email addresses and put them together. And that gave us our quorum then for the meeting to go ahead.
So you first tried NemoVote's free demo, I think, as I remember, before we even got in touch.
Yes.
How did that work out for you?
Yeah, so we were looking for solutions online, and we had a look around the internet to see what was available, and spoke to other organizations for some support, and we just had a look at NemoVote, and like the European nature of it, to first start. We always try something close to home. So anything that supports, European companies and as close to home, basically, as much as we can. That's kind of our ethos. So we looked at the online, the website, and to see what they were about, how it worked. Looked at some of your in-depth videos that were quite good to get a feel for the system, and then just reached out to get a free demo. And to say that the free demo, you're literally getting all the features for the free demo, which I thought was very nifty. To be able to get that straight away rather than things closed, so you can really feel for the system and see what it's about.
Nice. I think also we early on we discussed like having one big QR code for everyone, which sounded convenient but wasn't so secure. Now, can you take us through like how you handle it in the end?
Yeah, so we weren't, to be honest, when we first found NemoVote, we're like, why? What's the deal with they need everyone's email address for the system? Why can't we just find? And then having reached out to you and the team in NemoVote, we were able to see that this becomes like your digital passport. So, and I found that really interesting, really secure then, because we brought this idea to a committee meeting. Everything is slow and like, what's this about? How we talk about it, and then we go to a vote on it, all the committee. But what we did was we were wondering, why do you need this email address? And then you explained, and the team did, about like, this becomes your passport. So you know that the unique email address is just linked to NemoVote, so no third party can get into that to maybe provide extra votes or provide different, send the link on to loads of people, so we get fake votes. So only each member that has their email address that corresponds to who can vote, and then nobody else extra can vote. So that was a game changer for us. So we were on board then to continue that, to ensure that everyone's email address was on the system.
If it was the first time you did use NemoVote, I think that was one of the reasons why you decided for live technical support, right? Like, how did that setup work out for you in the end? Because I know I had nothing to do during that time.
An election is an integral part of our constitution. That is the backbone of our constitution, that people are elected fairly. It was a big change in committee. We had 14 people running for 9 spaces. So it was quite challenging, quite difficult to manage. So that's a lot of people. And it just goes to show the strength of our club that has grown from year to year, that the interest is there to come for a committee. So the reason for choosing NemoVote is that it was so secure, and that we could literally build, say, first for the chairperson. So we have one election for the chairperson really simply, then we can build a second election for the committee. What really put everyone's mind at ease, I had a call with you just in relation to tech support, and we just wanted to show all the members that this is secure. And on top of having yourself from NemoVote working in the background, even that we mightn't have needed you, that we were confident that what was happening was secure. We also had a third party member from another charity within Ireland, and they overseen the voting system with 2 internal people. So we were trying to really look after each individual person voting.
Yeah, like an election board, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
For the on-site voters, just out of my interest, because I think we enabled the individual QR codes for you as well. Did the on-site voters also vote via email and receive the credentials via email, or did they receive that personal QR code printed out?
No, so they did it by email as well. We didn't use the QR code in the end. We just kind of wanted to keep it. When you said your secure email, I know you did tell me that the QR code is linked to each individual's email address, so only those who get in. But in the end, we just got them to log in with their details. And then what I didn't notice, but was another game changer, is it called the Magic Link?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I didn't notice that you informed me was the magic link related to logging in. So it's so seamless. I was like, oh, this magic link, then is it not related? And then you're like, no, it's still related to each individual's email address. So that magic link was, again, just incredible. People could just jump onto the system really quick without like logging in, looking for passwords, but yet still very secure. So that was, again, another game changer of getting NemoVote in. to do the job, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think last year we developed that magic link, or we implemented it, and before that we used username and password, and that was a struggle because people would just have issues copying that password correctly. You know, you always have a space bar, or you somehow didn't copy it correctly, and then people wouldn't be able to log in. I really like that you mentioned it's now seamless.
Yeah.
Did you receive any feedback from the members?
So just one other thing that you did was really, really cool, is to put everybody's mind at ease before the election. The stress in the room was very high. There's a lot of at stake. We were going for a new chairperson. We had a new committee. And just to make everyone at ease to know that they could use the system, access the system, you got me to send out a fake, like a random test. I remember it was like, is today Tuesday? Yes or no? So everybody in the room, both in person and online, got a link to say, is today Tuesday? Yes or no? And they got to submit that link, and that just cleared the room of any negativity, of any kind of like, oh, hey, well, this is how it works. So yeah, that was huge. I think every company should do that if they can have the time, just for 5 seconds, just to settle the room as such.
Did you have any issues with people receiving that email?
And no, everyone got theirs, and no problem. One person just didn't refresh enough, and he came up to us just as, but it's quite important that this isn't rushed. The system isn't rushed. Everything's just done nice and calmly. So we just waited 3 or 4 minutes, and they got the link and were able to log on. And I think what's great as well, you can see live who's sitting on the system, that they're in the system looking ready to vote. And the back end side is quite user friendly. You don't think so when you're kind of like, oh, well, I manage this, as a lay person. But when you get into the system, we had 2 volunteers. I didn't have access to the results. We just had 2 volunteers watching the system, and like they could navigate it very easy.
Nice. Now, if you would have to decide for one biggest advantage that you now had using online voting for your club's election, what would it be?
The biggest advantage, it's everything. It's just so seamless. It's the data collection at the end. It's the results coming through. It's the pie charts. It's it's all at your fingertips within seconds. You can even see, I didn't even know, you can see everyone that's voted with all their information redacted, and like all the system does that. So you can see that Mary Byrne has voted, but doesn't tell you, because you need confidential voting. So you don't want to see the results of how they voted, but you can see that they have voted. That was a game changer. Even putting the email addresses, like we were putting the email addresses live as the meeting was about to start. It's just so seamless and so easy. I think you mightn't need the support, but having, I think, such a big weight on the voting for elections, and having the support there, is huge. And it really,
I'm always asking that question, so I have to ask you again, even though you might have already answered it in the last question. But what was your favorite feature in NemoVote? Like, if you think about one thing, what was it?
If I think about one thing, but there's so many. Like the live results is great. From the front end, like as in when you're watching that coming in. But from kind of the back end, just the seamless of being able to build elections and have them ready. We did a lot of graphics for our voting system, so the photograph we can put in so you can see like we had headshots of everybody, each person, so they could see. That was real handy. So it becomes a bit more digital, or a bit more less text, I suppose, and you can really play around with just editing a photograph, and then like, oh, here's all the list of who's going. But yeah, it was seamless like that, and you can build elections really quickly. What else was the game changer? Just being able to input. Like I thought having to put in everyone's data was going to be so time consuming, and we're never going to get everyone's data into this system in time. That was just seamless. You just literally copy and paste the list of members, and it brings it into the system, and it's there. So yeah, that was really, really easy to do.
I'm telling you what, this is like always the answer. It's always the Excel upload. And I was very intrigued to see that, because I wouldn't have expected it. It's not really a voting feature, it's just how you set up the platform for you.
But it's because the voting system works. There's no, like what can I say about the voting? Like it's all there. It's very user friendly. You've done the UX on it, on like how to navigate this. It all works to be. It's there. It works. You've nothing to complain about because the system works. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, well, so nothing stands out. Like it doesn't stand out because it all works seamlessly. Like, then obviously the weighted voting, that was very confusing a bit for me, and how to, you know, for a complex voting system, we don't use that, but that feature is there for, I think, you don't need to know anything about weighting if you
Yeah.
don't use weighting, but if the system is there to help support that, if you do need weighted voting.
Maybe just getting one step back and a more general question, like a broader reflection.
Yeah.
What do you think? Just getting more digital, more online, do you risk the engagement of the members, or do you think you even integrate them even more? Like, how do you see that?
So it was quite funny. A few days before, we were saying to our members, we're using a system called NemoVote, and they're like, okay, NemoVote. So what do I do? Do I download an app? Do I do this? What do I, oh, tell us all about it. I was like, no, I'll tell you nothing about it. You don't need to do anything. It'll work on the day. So it was great to hold the room without any interruption in terms of like, we didn't talk about NemoVote until we were actually going to use the election. We said it in our open remarks, but it was good that it didn't become dominated. Everyone was engaged with the AGM. And then when we needed to talk about our elections, we got straight into NemoVote on how people can log in. And we did it live. So, we did it there and then. So there was no kind of, it was very engaging. I think they are engaged, even more engaged, because they can see with the photograph, they can see all the members, then they have
Yeah.
the list of names, and then they can tick who they want to vote for. And we had 2 elections in really quick succession.
Yeah.
So we opened the 2 votes, one for chairperson, and then we opened the one for committee as well. So it was really good.
Yeah. Is it like integral of being a modern club, or do you think it's just something that you have to do just for an identity?
No, get it. It's going digital for voting is definitely the way forward. Like I think there's so many organizations, especially here in Ireland, that you could roll it out to, that will just save so much paperwork, so much admin, that can just get on. It just does the job and it's secure, and then you can just get on with the actual day to day of elections and AGMs. Yeah, it's a huge integral part, and we'd definitely be using it into the future. And again, it's European, it's German, so that's a game changer for us as well. That it's in Europe.
So if another sports club now approaches you and asks you for advice in digital voting, what would you tell them? And would you recommend NemoVote?
Absolutely, yeah. For digital voting, like just in the LGBT, there's about 30 or 40 clubs here in Ireland with big memberships, from anything from rugby to badminton. So yeah, they definitely should go digital. We all need to move with the times too. And you have access to that data of who voted within seconds, live actually, so it comes in live. And as for NemoVote, he said definitely I'd recommend a friend. Recommend it to everyone to use. The support with NemoVote is incredible. They're always there. I know you get loads of questions, but that's how you feel connected, and that's how you feel you're with a good system, that they actually care about. You're not just talking to a robot, you chatting to the team that run it and are put your mind at ease, because it is a lot of there's a lot at stake here, and it's great to be able to have people in the background and the tech support to help.
And then AGM is always stressful.
Yeah,
Like whatever you do, it's always a stressful time. So with that in mind, thank you very much, Mark,
no problem.
for your time and for your recommendation. This was the episode with Dublin Frontrunners, Mark Armstrong. Anything you would like to add at the end of this
Yeah, I
episode?
just want to wish NemoVote the very best. I hope you get to break into Ireland as much as you can. I know you've been here for World Sailing and a few bits, but yeah, there's a huge with our GA community here in Ireland as well. It's huge clubs across Ireland that need this kind of support and need this voting system. I hope to get to see you at many AGMs for NemoVote across Ireland, and yeah, the best of luck for the future with it.
Thank you so much, Mark. Talk to you soon.
Thanks very much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.